Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction. If you're new here, thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. Typically do a whole load of different things from like heavier music to K-pop to everything in between. But I've had the opportunity to do more long form reviews. If you do like these, let me know down in the comment section below. I hope to do more of them. I love doing the long form reviews. I just haven't had as much time as I typically do to do them, but I knew I wanted to carve out time to do this release. So definitely a little bit more of a special place in my heart. But tonight we're going to be checking out Keshi's newest album, Requiem. Has been out for a couple weeks now. So I wanted to kind of break down all of the songs on the album, give you my thoughts on every single one, and kind of go through that. Also, as well as that, if you have the opportunity to go pick up the album, you can go pick it up. I have it on vinyl. I also picked up Gabriel, which is his release before this. But this is his sophomore album after Gabriel. And so I wanted to, again, I didn't review Gabriel when it came out, but I wanted to review this one. So we're going to get into the first song, which is Amen. I really feel like this is a wonderful intro to Requiem. I think it kind of gives this really interesting anthemic feel to the album. And I also really love the synth work in Amen. I think it does give you that sort of extra life or extra body to the vocals, and just kind of gives that extra sort of punch to the track. So I love that. I also love the sort of choir effect that they have going on, especially more so in the lyricism of the track. I really kind of feel like, again, this is such a great start to the album. And I also love that it kind of you'll hear a little bit more theming on this song specifically mixed throughout the entirety of the album, more specifically the final song of the album, as well as that there's a really nice lyrical reference to this song later on in the sort of album runtime. So I'll talk about that when it comes time to talk about the song, certainly. But do you think it's great? I also feel like this album cycles really well. I'm a huge listener from front to back, and I feel like this song just kind of bleeds in super well from the final song on the album, ID, to this song. I will be talking about the bonus track, Kiss Me Right, which was released like a week after the album came out. So I'll also be talking about that as well too. So the second song on the album is Say. This was the first song off Requiem that was released, and obviously once Keshi was kind of getting in the mode of releasing songs, this was the first one we heard. I definitely love that this song is kind of has more of an upbeat sort of feel to it. Definitely contrasts a lot of the songs on this album very nicely. I love this song a ton. I listened to this pretty religiously on a loop for probably the first couple weeks that Say was out, and still continue to listen to it a ton after after we got the trickle effect of singles after that. But I really enjoy the composition of this song. I think it builds really well. The song starts off with this like beautiful like piano parts, as well as a great bass line in this song. I think the bass work is really phenomenal along with the piano. You'll get to hear a little bit more of that obviously as the song progresses, as well as the album as a whole. I think they do a great job of kind of interweaving that through Keshi's sound, more specifically in this album. So I love that. Also appreciate Keshi's accompaniment. I know that in previous interviews that I've seen of him, I know he has referenced John Mayer as a influence on him, as not only, I would imagine, as a vocalist, but also as a guitar player. And I feel like you can definitely hear a lot of the John Mayer influence on this song specifically, and as well as a couple other songs on this release as well too. So really love that. I am also a huge John Mayer fan, so I feel like to not only feel like Keshi is a part of my influences now, to also have John Mayer as a shared influence, I think is really nice as well. And you can definitely hear the kind of mixing of those two worlds, at least for me personally. I love how the song kind of builds out. The composition composition is very similarly to what I love about Amen. I feel like this one just kind of takes it a little bit further. Also really enjoyed a lot of the lead guitar work in this, more specifically in the pre-chorus and chorus section of this song. I thought it really kind of comes full circle towards the end of the song as well. Just that final chorus is just peak. I really enjoy it a lot. I also, as a guitar nerd, enjoy a lot of the different guitar effects used on this, especially in the lead guitar. There's some nice like wah guitar effects on this song, and it adds a nice little bit of texture to the track, because there is a lot of reverb, and I think that this song really kind of stands out amongst those sorts of songs. So really enjoyed that a lot. I think again a lot of the sort of reverb drenched sections of this song, I think obviously add to that sort of dreaminess of the song. And it kind of gives me that sort of like post rock, shoegazy sort of feel. Obviously not to those extents, because you can definitely delve a little bit more into those effects a little bit more in that genre, but I feel like it does a great job of putting that nice little bit of touch onto it. And lastly, I love the vocal dubbing in the final chorus of this song as well too. I think just like his vocals, especially in the falsetto range, are just so nice, and I think they really knew how to do it. I know he's been working with the same like production team for quite a bit now, so I feel like they really kind of nailed down how to get his vocals just tuned in super well. So I love that. I feel like the song, it brings the song full circle as well for me as well too. And to me, I feel like it goes without saying this is one of my favorite songs off the album, and as much that as I have listened to it, I feel like I haven't gotten tired of it. So I feel like that's a good sign. So we're going to keep it moving here. The next one I have here is track 3. This one's Night. I love the beginning of the song. I love the violin swell. I think that's super cool. And then this like really Keshi centric guitar riff. I feel like it just is sampled super well throughout the song too. But then just kind of incorporating those like 808s, that interesting sort of like drum pattern to this song was really nice. I also feel like this song specifically, as someone who has been listening to Keshi for a while and has gone back into his discography multiple times, this one kind of feels to me like an amalgamation of what I would hear from like the song Limbo off of his previous album, Gabriel, or even some of his more earlier work like More, Right Here, just to name a few. I feel like those songs kind of encapsulate this song really well, and also playing off of his sort of like acoustic sampling that he's used in the past, but then also on top of that vocally, it's kind of played into his more like sultry like R&B style vocaling that I feel like he is known for now. So I feel like this one really kind of plays and pays homage to a little bit of his older roots. So I really love that a ton. I also really love the way that the vocals are layered in this song. More specifically, I think they were immaculately done. Shout outs to his production team as well. I think they did a great job on this song too, as well as the instrumentation too. I think just like finding that right niche spot between like having really pronounced vocals, but then also to have really great instrumental moments to shine. I think this song does a great job of giving that pull and tug within the song that I really love too. So just arrangement and production of the song, I think particularly my favorite part of the song, along with obviously just like the vocals, I love that little shreddy guitar part at the 2 minutes and 10-second mark to roughly around the 2 minutes and 7-second mark. I think it kind of gives me some like a little bit of light Polyphia type vibes, especially with that one song they did with Steve Vai. I know that's a very oddly specific comment to make, but definitely gives me that sort of like, at least guitar tone wise, gives me that sort of vibe. So love it. This is one of my favorite songs. I feel like it is a sleeper song on this release, but definitely appreciate this one a ton too. So we're going to move it on to track 4 of the album. This one is Soft Spot. I will say for this song being the final song before we got the full album, I wasn't really sure how to feel about this song when it first released. But now that I've had time to digest it, had time to listen to it more, I definitely feel like I have come around to this song a lot more. I'd also give a plug to the Vivo performances. If you haven't checked those out, I believe he did Soft Spot and Texas, which are 2 songs I really love, more specifically Texas I've really appreciated. But I would definitely suggest watching those if you haven't already. Great performances. But I feel like that may have been one of the main reasons why I've come around to this song, is just seeing it being performed live in that sort of like setting. But on top of that, I think like the song definitely has come around to me as well. Just on the lyrics alone, I had a lot of time to kind of digest a lot of the lyricism in this song. But I feel like for me, as a person who is in a relationship now, like I think to me this song definitely has more weight to it now, because it's like I can understand how some of these lyrics can be imparted on me, or how I could insert myself into the song. And so I think it does give me a little bit more meaning, or a little bit more life to the song, that I feel like maybe might not have that same sort of semblance if you aren't in a relationship or you're going through a breakup. Like and that's not to discount the song if you do like it, if you are single or whatnot. But I do feel like it gives me more semblance to the depth of the song in that aspect. I do feel like this is a sleeper song to me personally. Like, again, I wasn't really on it when first listening to the song, but now it's just like I love this song, and every time it comes on after night, I think the contrast of that is really nice too. I also really love the way it's produced. I love their kind of reverb drenched, like dreamy sort of sound that like the songs that have a little bit more like instrumental backing to it have had. So I love that this song is kind of, again, more instrumentally focused, and just kind of gives you like more of a feeling versus like more of like the what I would assume from Night, which has kind of like those big boombastic like 808s and like drum beats and stuff like that. This feels more like band related, and so I kind of gravitate towards that as well. I know I mentioned in Say about the John Mayer influence, but I'd also say very similarly, this song also has a very strong sort of John Mayer influence as well too, which again, absolutely love. So we're gonna keep it moving here. We're on to track 5. This one is Like That. I also really enjoyed this one. Kind of similar comments to what I made about Night. I do feel like it pays homage to a lot of his previous material, and obviously a lot of homage to his R&B musical roots. Not only, I think, instrumentally, but I think also vocally as well too. It just really works super well, and like I appreciate the kind of fine line that Keshi walks, where especially for this album, where I feel like there's more of a like line in the sand. I love the fact that he can kind of do a song that is like Soft Spot, that is more like band related, or has more of that sort of band feel to it, but then kind of do a song that is immediately following it and has more of that sort of like old emo like R&B sort of feel to it, that I feel like, again, he does very well too. So I love that he can walk the line of both of those genres super well. Something else I really enjoyed about this song is, again, I know I've been saying it a lot about the vocal layering, but I feel like this song does a really great job of layering out the vocals, and kind of gives you this almost sort of call and response sort of feel to the track, especially in that minute 35-second mark to around the minute 48-second mark. I feel like that was really nice, and I think the way it was like structured out in like the DAW was super well antiquated to the song itself. But I think it only makes me more curious if this song is ever played live, to see kind of the contrast between this song in a studio setting versus a live setting, because I think it would be really cool to see that contrast. Also, I really loved at the end of the song, there's this like razory synth slash like organ melody that I really like. It's super catchy, and almost acts as like a vocal line, which I think is always really impressive to me. So I think that overall this song is definitely a really solid song, and probably in like the middle to high tier for me. But I also really appreciate the way that it's stylized as well too. Again, kind of putting it in a similar sort of category to that of Night for me. So we're gonna keep it moving here. We got it. Track number 6. This is Texas. I thought this song was really good, especially after listening to Dream. And obviously we're going to be talking about Texas first, then Dream, so it'll be a cool back-to-back contrast. But when this song came out, I thought this one had a really nice stripped back feel, just because like after listening to Dream, and we'll obviously be talking about that in mere moments, but I thought like this sort of dreamy qualities of Dream, no pun intended, I thought were really nice, and I think they suit the song really well. But I feel like Texas is like some of those like more, again, I know I keep referencing older material, previous material, but like this has those sorts of like more acoustic-y sort of like bedroom like pop sort of sensibility to it, and I think that's kind of why I enjoy these songs. I also play guitar as well too, so I think this one definitely feels a little bit more home with what I would typically listen to and associate with. So like maybe that's probably why it's higher up on my list of songs that I've enjoyed off this album. I also really enjoyed the acoustic work. I've already figured it out on guitar and have been messing around with it a little bit, but I also appreciate that just this acoustic guitar like guitar part is the main focus of the song, obviously excluding vocals. And I like how they kind of built everything else around it. I think it just really adds to that sort of depth of the song. I also appreciate like the homage, because I know Keshi is originally from Texas. I love the homage to like the slide guitar, harmonica, even in the piano work. I feel like it is like a little bit country-esque. And so I appreciate the fact that he decided to put some more homage to his where he was living at, and like just not only I think in the sort of sentiments of the lyricism, but also musicality wise. I think it just again gives you that sort of like immersiveness to the song, and kind of gives you that sort of feeling of like if you've ever moved and missing your hometown or something like that. I really appreciate that a lot. So I've really felt a lot of I felt a lot of things about this song specifically as someone who's moved out of their hometown. So I thought this was a very immersive experience, and probably why, again, not only I think for the instrumentation, but just the immersiveness of the lyricism, I think was really great. I also really appreciated the fact that that final chorus, the way that Keshi switches up the vocal melody, just kind of gives you this sort of anguishing feeling about, again, about missing your hometown. And I think it kind of just puts that nail in the coffin for me in terms of like, this is how I feel about the song, but like Keshi was like, hey, I'm gonna give you more of that feeling in that final chorus, so you really know how I feel about my hometown and stuff like that. So I love that. I love when artists can really give you that sort of feeling, and I think that Keshi does a really great job of conveying it in this song specifically. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're on to track 7 now. This one is Dream. This is the second single that was released off of Requiem. And I feel like it's so interesting to look at this song in hindsight, because it was such a stark contrast to Say, which I love. Again, I've already told you it's one of my favorite songs off the album, but in a weird way, it kind of feels like two halves of a whole, where like Dream is like this real ethereal, really like lush sort of song, and like Say is more like upbeat, poppy, like in your face, but also does have some like lush qualities to it. So I think the combination of those two songs together and releasing them back to back was really smart. Even though they are not tracklist wise next to each other, I still feel like it fits really well in the confines of like the title list, the song listing, the title track listing. I couldn't even think of the word, but yeah, I really thought this one was solid. I think it does get better with more listens, and since Say and Dream are the two songs that I've had the most time listening to, I feel like maybe like as I've gone and listened to it, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try to pick out different things that I have listened to about the song that maybe I didn't listen to on first listen. But I do feel like with Dream, there's just like so much like reverb in the song, and like it's easy to just kind of feel like you're floating in this song. Like there's just something about the way that this song is put together that just kind of gives you this sort of elevation, and I really like that. I also appreciate more of the mellow delivery slash tone that Keshi puts in this song. I think it just kind of gives you, again, that additional aspect of floating or feeling that sort of openness of the song. And then anytime you add violins, I think it does give you that, again, to just further cement all of the things that I've said. It does give you that floating feeling as well. Probably my favorite part of this song specifically is that like crescendo moment in that final chorus. I feel like it almost pays homage to Amen, which is the first song on the album, with like that sort of like choral, like big, like elementation of the song. So I love that. If that was the intention of that final chorus, I think they did a great job of like pulling you back in if you've listened to this album a lot of times and you're like, oh wow, that's cool. I really appreciate the vibe of that. So to me, Dream is definitely one of those songs that I like love listening to, and I think it works really well after Texas. But I think it sets up the next song really well, which is War. I love this song, and I think maybe it's just because of the like power of the lyricism. While I think the composition of the song is really nice and really stripped back very similarly to that of Texas, I do feel like it allows you to more critically listen to the lyrics of the song and how much hurt is in the in the lyricism of the song. And I know I kind of like chuckled, but like I just think it's like the oddly like catharticness of the song that just kind of swayed it. Just the light bulb went off in my head to know that like this is one of my favorites, and I feel vindicated to know that it is one of those songs, because like whenever I listen to a song that I really love, I get like goosebumps or get chills on my like arms and my body. And I think that this song definitely gives me that vibe, not only in first listen but just like with every consequential listen. I think just because again the musicality mixed with the strong lyricism I think works really well. And I also feel like you can definitely hear more of the heartfeltness of the lyricism in this song, just because there's not a lot of things to work with like instrumentally. So it really kind of again allows you to focus in. And I also appreciate that it offers this opportunity for you to put yourself in this position or in this place of this song. And I think sometimes that's really all you need, is like to really feel inserted into a song. And I don't know if that was again the intention of the track, but I do feel like listening to the song, it's like, wow, like what a song, not only for the lyricism but for the way that it makes you feel. So War is definitely to me like one of those songs that I feel like not a lot of people I think would gravitate towards immediately, but I feel like again just listening to this album so many times, I've always felt a strong connection to War in this song specifically. So big kudos to Keshi. Great track. We're gonna keep this train moving. The next one we have on the list is track 9, which is Bodies. And I feel like I gotta get something off my chest. The guitar riff in this song kind of reminds me of the Police's song "Every Breath You Take." And I, for some reason, cannot get that out of my head. Every time I listen to this song, that's like I feel like the guitar riff for the Police gets inserted into this song unintentionally, even though that I'm not trying to place it into that song. Maybe it's just the millennial in me, but that's kind of how I feel about the song, and that doesn't detract from this song for me personally, because I still love it. But it is something that I feel like, as a music brain and something always working, I feel like that's kind of what my mind is set at. But I will say, I really enjoyed the motion of this song. I think this song evokes the most emotion from Keshi thus far, and you can definitely tell the way that he sings certain parts in this song. Like his voice kind of almost cracks or gets really gravelly, and like you can just tell there's just a lot of emotion put behind it. I think very similarly to like that final chorus in Texas. I think this song just kind of takes that whole notion of emotion and delivery and kind of puts it throughout the entirety of the song. So I really like it. And as well as that, I think to me probably my favorite part of the song, not only I think like composition wise, but as well as lyricism, but I love the lyric set that he has before the build. Everybody wants somebody, needs somebody, anybody. I just love that like lyric set. I just think it's really it's very evocative of the song, and I think it does a really great job of kind of putting you in that sort of emotional status, as I've been mentioning with a couple of these songs on this album thus far. So I really enjoy this one. I do feel like this song will probably get overlooked by a majority of people listening to this album, and I would highly recommend listening to this one because I felt a strong connection to this one, and I thought it was really good too. So go check out Bodies. But the next one on the list is the title track, which is Requiem. And I thought this one was also very good. I think very similarly to War, I really enjoyed the lyricism of this song. I don't know if I feel like for me personally, just listening to a lot of the Keshi albums like on repeat, but even before this album had come out, I listened to a lot of Gabriel, and I think that this song specifically, and I could be wrong, but to me lyrically it kind of almost gives me a nod to that song Gabriel off of his previous album, and I don't know if that is accurate or not, but I would like to believe it is. So if you also felt the same way, let me know down in the comments. But I thought the instrumentation of this song was really nice. Again, anytime you can combo piano and violins together is always a plus for me. And I do feel like, again, very similarly to War, I do think it helps convey the message a little bit more. But yeah, I felt like this was kind of a 1-2 punch of like being very or not being very similar, but like musicality wise, kind of keeping in a similar lane to that of War, and then again maybe paying homage to Gabriel from the previous album. I think that is a cool, like, if you've been a fan of Keshi for a while, maybe those things translate. So again, let me know in the comments if you agree with me on that one. The next track, I was going to say the last track, it's not the last track. The next track on the album is Euphoria, and this is going to go without saying, I think this is hands down the best song on the album. I think it's just so beautifully orchestrated. I love that, at least for me and the amount of time that I've listened to this album, I think this song keeps getting better and better and better and better with each listen. So I really appreciate that a ton. I also love that this kind of feels like I want to say an interpretation of Texas, but I think it takes a lot of the aspects of what I love about the song Texas off this album, like the slide guitar. I think there's maybe like a little bit of harmonica. I know there's like a decent amount of piano in this song as well too. Like, I think it takes all of those really great elements and kind of morphs it into a different ideology, but still kind of, again, very cohesive in the zeitgeist of the album. So I really love that. As well as that, this chorus in this song is so good. The first chorus is great, the second chorus is great, but like that second chorus bleed into the bridge of this song is just like so good. I think it closes out the song super well, and then you get this little like soft ending that just kind of glides you into the next song on the album. To me, I can't help but get really goosebumps all over my body about this song. Like, it's just so good, and I'm glad he did not use this as one of the singles. I don't feel like it would lessen it if he did use it as a single, but I think it just gives you that like added satisfaction of like listening to this album in full and being like, damn, people are missing out on this song. So I thought this one was fantastic, and again, one of my favorites off the album, without a doubt. Speaking of the next song, the next track is track 12. This is Just to Die. I feel like this song is gonna get a bad rap, and I don't think like in a negative way. I just think it's such a hard song to follow up after Euphoria. But I think that this one is interesting in the sense that I think it takes more of an introspective approach. And it definitely took me a lot more time to digest, especially being on that high of Euphoria. So I think I appreciate the song for where it sits on the album, and I don't really think that there is probably another song that keeps that same sort of energy other than maybe the final song on the full like actual release, because that Kiss Me Right is a bonus song. But I do feel like this song is kind of a good, like, I think this song is a good setup song, like, because obviously we get ID next, which I'll talk about in a moment, but I love how, like, again, it makes you think about things in a different perspective, in a different way. And I also really love the one section of the song where like the choir bells come in, and it gives you this moment, at least for me, and I'd imagine for Keshi as well, maybe that's why it was done like production wise, but like just the way that those choir bells sit, and then like having the lyrics about not wanting to die, I think it's this really cool like self-reflective moment of like getting a new lease on life. And I thought it was pretty profound in terms of like not only lyricism wise, but I think production value wise, it just kind of shifts your narrative in a really unique way. and like it also shifts your perspective lyrically, because ID is such a like and we'll talk about it a little bit, but just such a like big boss sort of energy to it. And like it's just really beautiful the way that this song is put into like the track listing. And at first I was like, I don't know if I like Just to Die. Like I don't know if it really works. And like every time that I've come after Euphoria and listening to this song, it's just like it makes sense. I think it continues to kind of say like, I deserve to be in this spot. And I think that you just have to trust the process and know that the song fits really well. And I think with each full album listen, I'm like, it only further instills that thought in my head. So I love that. I think this again is going to be a really sleeper song for most people, but I think if you really dig deep and you listen to the lyricism or read the lyricism, definitely worth it for sure. So we're going to move on to track number 13, which would technically be the final song of the album, but we're going to talk about Kiss Me Right for a little bit. But this song is called ID. And I think the composition and the arrangement of this song is so wild. I go back and listen to this song very frequently because I love the way it's produced and the way that it's put together. So again, shout outs to his team for producing this and like arranging it super well, because it's really, really interesting. I like how the beginning has this beautiful like organ part. It almost gives you this like church like feeling. And again, I think it also pays homage to Amen, not only one time, but I think twice. And we'll talk about that in just mere seconds. But I really like that elementation. I think Keshi and his team did a really great job of putting that together. Then there's this like really interesting like synth breakup part, and then this interesting, really fun, cool tom fill, and then you get this like 808 beats with like this really set back electric guitar like lead part in the back of the mix of the song, which I think is really cool, and I think it sets this song out from the rest of them. As well as that, I love the lyrical reference to Amen in the middle of the song. I thought it was a nice addition to the track, and obviously continuing that like full cycle album listen. But I also feel like equally as well, I think the song does do a fantastic job of encapsulating the vibe of Requiem. It has like those like more R&B like type feelings, and even in that like section where it almost has like a little bit of a rap slash like 808 like big bombastic feel, it does play into like songs like Night or Like That, but then it also plays into songs like off his previous album Gabriel, Get It. I feel like musically as well too, it's kind of got that big boss feel to it, and so I appreciate that. And then again, I think it does a really great job of kind of mixing all of those different elements together, and I think it does a really great job doing that, and I think is actually probably the purpose of the song. And ironically enough, the naming of the song being called ID, I think it does give you a good perspective on what I feel like Keshi's ID is, which is like, again, having those really like band oriented, really instrumentally filled songs that hit really well, but then on top of that, having songs that are a little bit more like bumpy, more vibey and stuff like that. And I think this does a great job of finding those ebbs and flows of this album and putting it together in one cohesive. I really love this. I think it's a great way to close the album out, and so I think this one's really solid and probably one of my favorites as well too. So we're gonna get into technically the bonus song of the album, which is Kiss Me Right. I know that doing a little bit of Google searching, this song has lived in infamy for the past couple years. I think I saw on Google like he had posted, or a fan had posted in Australia, of like him doing like a little bit of a snippet of Kiss Me Right, and this was back in like 2022. So I imagine 2021 2022 might have been the time frame, but I know this song has been requested for a bit and has just been put on the back burner, so I'm glad he was finally able to release it as a bonus track on this release. This one was produced by Madon, which is really cool. I like that. I think that's a cool thing, and I hope that it gives him more like radio play or like more popularity in the mainstream. I thought that would be really sick. I love the main guitar riff, and I like how they kind of sample it throughout the entirety of the song. I would imagine Madon had a lot to do with that, but I think it worked out really well. I loved Keshi's vocals as per usual. He's got really stellar vocals, but I think the melodies in the song are really catchy and really fun. So I think he did a great job of crushing it on this song specifically. But I also understand why this song was released like a week later after the full album drop, because I find that this song doesn't really like fit in Requiem, but I also don't feel like it fits in Gabriel. So I think it's kind of a cool like interim of like those two albums of like, okay, this is a song that is in that time frame and also was probably written in that sort of like bubble of releases. So I would understand as to why this is a bonus song and not on the main release. As much as I really enjoy it, I think conceptually the album I feel like feels complete at ID, but Kiss Me Right is just like if you go out to dinner and you get a sundae and they put that cherry on top, I feel like it's just a cherry on top at the end. So really solid song, enjoy this one a lot, but I think as a complete package the album is really good as a whole. I think maybe it probably is just because I am a little biased, but or not even a little, I am biased, but I think to me it's like, I think Keshi really, to me as an artist, lays out the things that I already enjoy about like more pop stylized music, but then also plays into the things that I love about like a lot of bands and the way that those songs are arranged. So I think this album does a great job of bridging those two worlds together, at least for me, and I would hope it does that for other people as well too, because I think there's two different sides to Keshi, and I feel like he has always done that with a lot of his releases, but I think for this one more specifically, it feels like kind of more of an amalgamation of those two worlds. So I love this release. It's probably going to be amongst my albums of the year this year for sure. It wouldn't be a reason why I would even grab it on vinyl if it didn't make my favorites releases of this year, but it was really fun breaking down this album, really listening to it intently, and I would hope that if you spent the past like roughly almost 40 minutes of me rambling about this release, that I hope that you go to check it out, or if you have already listened to it, let me know what your favorites are down in the comment section below. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a little bummed that he unfortunately is putting a little bit of a hold on the tour. I would love to see him. I haven't had the opportunity to see him perform yet, but best know once those tour dates and new, or at least new tour dates come up, I will be going out to see Keshi for sure. So really excited. Again, if you have not checked out Requiem, which I will pull up again just to flex a little bit, please check it out. Really good stuff. Really talented artist, and I think I try to do my best to highlight as many talented artists as I possibly can. So if you like these deep dives into albums, let me know down in the comment section below. I've got a couple I want to do, and I probably will have the time to do next week, so you might be seeing a little bit more of these maybe before it takes a little bit of a hiatus again. But if there's an album you would really like me to deep dive into, let me know. Also, join us on Discord. There is a link down below. That's mainly where I hang out and chat with y'all, so come join. We could talk all things Keshi or any type of artist. We love, I'm trying to build an artist of a community of artists that love music just as a whole, regardless of what genre you listen to. Just if you love music, that's what I'm here for. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening to me ramble. That is it. If you like any of the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you like my review, that helps out greatly. It helps me get pushed out to more of y'all. So thanks for showing the love, showing the support, and please go support Keshi as always. So thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.